We've been bringing you the story of the sudden resignation of New York's Attorney General Eric Schneiderman only hours after a story broke in the New Yorker exposing the fact that 4 women had come forward accusing him of violence and abuse. Now, right away, an investigation started with the Manhattan District Attorney Cy Vance, and only hours after that started, Governor Cuomo came out and announced he would appoint a special prosecutor to handle the case. He appointed and made this announcement earlier this week Madeline Singas, who is currently the Nassau County District Attorney. He made the announcement, and then today, in a hastily called press conference, brought out Cy Vance and Madeline Singas to introduce her to the press.
When the governor called and asked me if I would take on this matter, I told him that I would do so, and I would begin an investigation that is thorough, that is fair, that is swift, and that makes sure that everyone in the system is dealt with integrity and dignity.
All right, let's bring in the A+ panel to break this down. Guys, it seems to me that this was more about politics and posturing than it had to do with anything regarding the case. Jeanette, what do you think?
Yeah, I was watching this press conference and saying, where's the actual news here? Because there really wasn't any. I mean, he made an announcement that Madeline Singas would be handling the case. Cy Vance was very upset because he wanted to investigate the case. He opened up an investigation for 5 minutes, but then had it shut down. I actually think that if they didn't do the press conference, they would have been better served, because now it keeps the story about the conflict between the DA's office alive for another day.
It's a good point, Jeanette. Bill, the press, that's all they asked about. And it looked to me like Cy Vance took a shot at the governor, literally saying, well, I did have an investigation for 12 hours.
I think what started as a press conference about nothing turned exactly into that. I don't know what they were looking to accomplish here. I think they were basically, and everything's fine, everything's okay. I think the press picked that up. I picked that up when we were watching, and there was some obvious tension there. I don't get what this was about, other than we're having an election coming up soon, and we want to be out there doing this.
And what about, Jeanette, the broad strokes, talking about the military and sexual abuse? I mean, he talked about it. It's in every industry. It almost seemed like a little bit backtracking, saying, hey, it's not just us.
It's not just here. It's not just the New York Attorney General's office. This happens everywhere. And I think he's very defensive because, look, Cynthia Nixon is going to come out, his Democratic opponent, and say, didn't you know that this was happening? This is your number 2 guy in the Democratic Party. I think he's very defensive.
What do you think? I mean, at what point is a Nassau County DA truly independent? I mean, wouldn't it have been better to bring somebody in from out of state? I mean, what about the question of what did Andrew Cuomo know at any point? I mean, we talked about the president's tweet 5 years ago, alluding to the fact there could be something wrong.
These folks are in these positions to do these types of jobs. So I'm not sure I'm ready to say, let's pull somebody else in. By the way, from a taxpayer standpoint, who's paying for that? So I think that we can look at this and say there seemed to be an obvious conflict with the one DA. They're dealing with that. This other DA can step in, and let's see where we go, and let's see what comes out of this. I don't sense there's any trouble there.
And I actually think Madeline Singas is a good choice for a number of reasons. Obviously, she's a woman, so that helps the perception.
Helps the optics.
Yeah, optics are good.
Right. But also, she has experience with domestic violence. She created a special victims unit in Long Island, so she's clearly qualified to investigate this.
Do you think this is more trying to distract away from the fact that there is a political corruption angle of this, the accusation that he used his office to suppress these women?
Sure, absolutely. And I think this also comes back to this. Governor Cuomo is running in a Democratic primary right now, and he's being attacked on a regular basis by a pretty formidable opponent, and we'll see what happens in the election. So he's got to be out there answering these things now. Normally, in a campaign, you run away from the stuff. You don't do it. He's got to do this.
If his defensive posture was any indication today about how he's going to run the campaign, she probably gained 10 points.
I think so.
All right, thanks, guys.